Don't create expectations for other people that you don't have any control over. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Monday Morning Moments with Mark. I hope this finds you well. So, as you saw in the open, this week we're going to talk a little bit about expectations and why you probably shouldn't have them. But before we get into that, we have the funniest thing, which is actually I should have managed my own expectations. The funniest thing that happened this week was I opened my big fat mouth and it cost me $40. It's probably going to end up costing me $80. So, my wife spent her time over the weekend reorganizing, or earlier last week she was spent some time reorganizing the spice cabinet, and she gets everything all set up, and she gets my son and his girlfriend on FaceTime from Minnesota and then in Florida, and is showing them how she has the spices in there and how orderly it is. And my son, in all of his infinite wisdom, is like, yeah, but they're still stacked behind each other, and you're going to knock them over as you pull them out. And I hear this, and I want to support his opinion. So I started doing a demonstration, and I reach in there, and I grab one, and I'm like, yeah, see, when you go to take it out, you're still knocking things over. So I knock over a couple of things in the cabinet to prove my point, and I set the one in my hand down, and I walked away. I was on the other side of the kitchen, and all of a sudden I heard and I walk over there, and my wife has now broken one of the spice holders, and that turned into a very interesting conversation. And what ended up happening is, to prove her point, that it was in fact my fault. She bought a whole new one, cost $40. It's super awesome, and I actually encourage her to buy another one to finish out the project and make the whole spice cabinet be organized and neat and orderly. I'll have to get a picture of that thrown up here somewhere. But careful what you ask for. Chances are you're going to get it, as one of my rules, and that's what happened to me. So $40 later, I have a very organized spice cabinet, so which is fine by me. So moving on to talk about expectations. So first of all, expectations really don't do anything more than lead to stress and disappointment, so we really shouldn't have them. To avoid this, just don't make expectations for other people. And you're probably thinking, but wait a minute, Mark, now listen, how can I have, I'm telling you, the minute that you start making expectations for other people, you are setting yourself up for failure and disappointment. Because it's like that's what you thought was going to happen. Whatever your expectation is, that's what you thought was going to happen, but it may have never been their intention in the first place. And a lot of times, like, the expectations that we set are based on some sort of idealistic social constructs, and I could go off on a tangent about that, but I'm just going to give you an example from the customer service side of things. So if you, whatever expectations you have, uh, from a company is actually the company sets the expectations in their mission statement, vision, and value statements that they put out on their websites. So when you choose to become a patron, that's all you can ever expect out of them. Anything else is beyond that. What I find interesting is you'll have customer service people that'll always want to know, well, can you please let us know how we did not meet your expectations? And I'm like, well, first of all, my expectations are wild and crazy, and you have no idea. You were never going to meet my expectations. But the reality of the matter is that you set the expectation. The company, whomever it may be, is the one that sets the expectations, because you lined out what your services were. When I stepped through the door, that's all I should have ever had any expectation of, is exactly what you said your services were that you offered. Now, the problem is you have somebody like me that will call up and actually hold them accountable and say, okay, well, your mission statement or whatever commitment it is that you outlined says this, this, and this, but yet the service you provided was actually this. So you're not meeting your own expectations. It's not my expectation. It's your expectation of yourself and the service you want to provide. So I'm just helping you be accountable to the service you said you wanted to provide. But for me to have some sort of expectation that when I call up whatever customer service company about whatever service is being provided and say, well, I expected you to be able to do this and this and this, that's on me. Why would you put that stress on yourself? Like, don't do that. Don't create expectations for other people that you don't have any control over. Just accept what their intentions are and what their capabilities are. So it kind of gets into contract setting. What you can really, all you can ever really do is establish your requirements. So my requirements are this. Can your company meet that need? And to what capacity? There again, the company is looking at your requirements and setting your expectations. One of my great mentors, Tony Martino, he was really big on that. Always looking for what's the requirement? Because whatever the requirement is, that's where we can leverage our services against that. And we can't do any more than whatever that is. And anything beyond that is an unnecessary and unrealistic expectation. So that's great that we can talk about that in then a business sort of sense and business type relationships and being a customer service type thing. But when we talk about the same for our personal relationships or even your relationship with yourself, it's no different. You can't set expectations for other people beyond whatever their ability to meet your requirements are. You can lay out your requirements and say, I need this, this, and this from you. Are you able to do that? And if they say yes, then that's them setting the expectations. But if you were just like expect something to magically happen and you haven't given any requirements and all you have is expectations, then that stress is on you for having, check yourself at the door about that one. Like, set out your requirements, understand what your needs are, and allow people to fulfill those. And you'll be amazed at how much less stressful you really find things when you're not expecting things. You're just simply stating what your needs are, and then you know whether or not they can meet them for you. So take some time this week to sort of look at your different relationships and have you clearly established the requirements with the people that you engage with throughout the week and throughout your life, and have they made an expectation commitment to you and whether or not they can or cannot meet that. So take a look at that this week and see if you can reduce the stress load from having far less expectations in life. Have a great week.